All right, so at this time, I'd like to invite any of our conservative candidates here in the audience, I know there's several, to please come on up and give us a quick 30-second elevator pitch. 30? Yeah, 30 seconds. I'm running behind, brother. Yeah, or my wife will give you the stop sign. Come on up and introduce yourself to our audience, and we'll start over here.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Bolito. I'm a judge here in Dallas County. I'm running for the Court of Criminal Appeals. And I've been endorsed by Governor Abbott, by the Texas Alliance for Life. Every police agency that I've asked, including the Dallas Police Association, has endorsed me. So remember me, Jennifer Bolito, for the Court of Criminal Appeals, Place 9. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Stephen Stanley, and I'm running for Texas House District 113. It's on the east side of Dallas County, from basically it's half Garland, half of Rowlett, and Mesquite. So luckily, I don't have a primary opponent, so I'm going to be out doing what I can to help some of these other candidates, looking to watch what some of these other folks have been doing, what they've been saying. This is a very important race. Growing up in East Texas for about 2 or 3 years, we lived on a farm, dealt with a lot of the issues that's in front of us, so I'm very keen, and also being 42 years in the real estate industry, this is very impactful for what I do for a living as well. So look forward to tonight. Please pay attention. Get all of your friends out to vote in the primaries.
Thank you, brother.
Good evening. My name is Zach Barrett. I'm here to represent our great land commissioner, Dawn Buckingham. All I'm going to say is she doesn't have a Republican primary challenger because she's done such a damn good job. So no one dared to even challenge her. So they would get their ass handed to them.
Enough said, right?
Hi, I'm April Williams-Moore, and I'm running for State Board of Education, District 13, which is in Dallas County and Tarrant County right now. This is a Democrat held seat, so I am trying to flip the seat. I've served in the Air Force, and one of the things that the incumbent does well is constantly raise problems. However, I believe we need to focus on solutions, so that's why I'm running. And I would love your support. I don't have a primary opponent, so I will be on the ballot in November. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Leslie Barrows. I'm running for the Family District Court in Tarrant County. Yes, and I'm in Dallas, but I was raised here, so don't be a hater. And I'm endorsed by Texas Right for Life, proud of that, and also this group and Benji and all of the hard work that he does and his wife. Thank you so much.
Good evening, folks. My name is Jeff Forrester. I'm running for Texas House District number 89. Thank you. It's hard to believe we've been doing this for almost 13 months, and Tuesday morning at 7 o'clock it starts. So please don't forget to get out and vote. Get your friends to get out and vote. And if they've got friends, get them to get out and vote as well. So on the way here this evening, I had a conference call with a group called Hispanics Against Socialism and earned their endorsement. I'm asking for your support, and I look forward to serving the Texas House of Representatives. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Monty Montanez. I'm running for U.S. Congress in Texas 32. I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a combat veteran, but most of all, I'm a Texan. I come from a small town. I love this country, I love this state, and I'd love to be able to earn your vote and your support. So if I look like a small town kid that you might get along with, please look me up at montyforcongress.com. That's Monty, F-O-R, Congress.com. I'll meet you for coffee, I'll meet you where you are. I'm definitely the kind of guy that'll fight for you every single day in Washington, D.C. So God bless Texas, God bless America. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Barry Wernick. I'm running for Dallas County Commissioner, District 2. I'm running because we need transparency and accountability on a commissioner's court that is comprised of 4 Democrats and 1 Democrat judge presiding over the court. So we got 5 Democrats there. I will promise to be your watchdog and not only doge Dallas County, just to prove how much I'm going to doge it, cut the fat. I've already doged my campaign. I've taken my old signs and slapped on stickers for Dallas County Commissioner. Okay? Done the same with my website. Go to my website, wernickfortexas.com. It's all spelled out, WERNICKFORTEXAS.com. I could use your funds so that Well, I can make some new signs. All right, thank you. Get ready for a barn burner. I also got the American Jewish Conservatives endorsement.
Smooth, Larry. Big round of applause for all of our candidates, everybody. All right, let's keep it going here. Alrighty, this time is my great honor to introduce tonight's platinum level sponsor. Many of you all may know him already. He's a true conservative who shares our Judeo-Christian values, and we can't wait for him to Doge Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a Texas-sized welcome to our friend Don Huffine.
Thank you, Benji. Appreciate it. Well, guys, I need your help to be the next comptroller. I'm way ahead in all the polls. I've got a strong lead. I remind you that this is an open seat, and that Hager, when he ran for it, he avoided a runoff by 50 votes, just 50 votes. Every vote matters. I've been endorsed by every conservative organization in the state of Texas that's going to endorse. Great patriots across the board. The best senator we ever sent to Washington, Ted Cruz, has endorsed the campaign. Ron Paul, so many great patriots, including Riley Gaines and so many more. 75% of the SREC, unprecedented national committee men and women, are former vice chairman of the National Party. I really need your help to make sure we get the vote out. I'm a fifth-generation Texan, born and raised in Dallas, Texas. I'm the only candidate running that's actually doged the state agencies. You know, Dallas County Schools, y'all remember that debacle, that group that was here, that a countywide board, $100 million annual budget, 2,500 employees. I closed them down, put 6 people in prison, including old Dwayne Caraway, the mayor pro tem of the city council of Dallas. So no one else in the state of Texas has ever done that. I was doging before anybody knew the word. That's a fact. We need a little doging in Austin. It's a very much an underappreciated position. 3,000 employees. It collects all the money, manages all the money, tells the legislature how much they can spend, and the best part about it, I have eyes on all the spending. We're spending over $500 million a day, $350,000 every minute of every day, and I have eyes and ears on every bit of that. We need to make sure we root out fraud, waste, and abuse in Austin. And let me tell you, there's a lot of corruption, unfortunately, and a lot of government, and I'm going to put them in jail. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Also, I forgot to tell you, when I was in the Texas Senate, I'm the only person in Texas history at the time that never took your money. No pay, pension, health care, per diem, no pension plan, nothing. I'm going to do the same as your comptroller. Vote for Don Huffines, Don Huffines, Don Huffines. Say it 3 times, I'll win. Thank you.
Thank you, Don. Alrighty, so tonight we are honored to welcome not one, but 2 bold voices from the Texas House who have never been afraid to stand firm when it matters most. So to kick things off first, please join me in welcoming a relentless advocate for individual liberties, small business owners, parental rights, and constitutional government. She has shown unwavering courage under pressure and continues to be a principled fighter for Texans who believe that freedom is always worth defending. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Representative Shelley Luther.
Thank you so much. It is so good to see this many people here that are interested in this race. And this is how we have to show up not only in March, but in November as well. Because no matter what happens here, and what happens in the March election, we all band together in November. Say it with me. Yes. We all band together in November and kick those Democrats' butts. Yep. We have to. I want to say I feel a little bit of PTSD being in Dallas again. I don't know, maybe because I have so much room to move around and not a 10x6 or whatever I was in. But I'll tell you, I will fight for our freedoms over and over and over again, and I'm so proud to stand with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Our next speaker is a powerful and articulate leader who has been a champion for strong borders, fiscal responsibility, election integrity, and unapologetic conservative values. She brings conviction, clarity, and a deep commitment to keeping Texas strong. Folks, give it up for Representative Katrina Pearson.
Thank you, and thank you for having us. Benji. This is really great. I'm not having PTSD. I'm having a little bit of nostalgia because this used to be my old stomping ground. Raise your hand if you're a Tea Partier. Yay, look at that. I got to see so many blasts from the past tonight. I'm just so excited to be here. And, you know, Shelley and I are absolutely on the front lines for you guys in Austin, and it has been wonderful. Our class has really shaken it up.
Yes.
And we are going to need more people to help us finish the job and reform the Texas House.
Yes.
And with your help, we're going to do that. And tonight, we're going to hear from two really great folks that are going to help us bring it home in November. So thank you all for coming out, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much, Katrina. We have a special guest who I didn't know was going to be here until last minute, but he's always a big fan of ours, and we're a big fan of his. Senator Bob Hall.
Oh, thank you, Benji. I'm sorry, the way the schedule's going, I didn't know the last minute I could make it. But I appreciate your endorsement and the association's endorsement. I do. And I appreciate Don Huffines. He and I went into the Senate together about 10 years ago. And I really enjoyed working with him when we took down the school district here in Dallas. And Don put him in jail like he said. He wasn't kidding about that. But for the last 10 years, I'm a constitutional conservative with Judeo-Christian values. That's who I am. And for the last 10 years, I've been a driving force behind conservative principles being passed in the Senate. We got a number of things done. This last session, I was the only Republican legislator to actually pass two of your Republican platform priorities: to protect our electrical grid from both natural and man-made threats, and election integrity bill. And we're coming back this next time to make them even better. But the one thing that we're faced with that we've already started working on for next session that we have got to face and take down is we have got to take on ending any form of Sharia law in Texas, period. So we've got to go. If we don't do it now, we want to have a chance later to do it. This we have to do for the generations to come.
Yes.
Just look at what happened to Europe. It cannot happen here. Texas is their #1 target, and we're going to stop it here. The Lieutenant Governor has already put it on the studies for the interim, and I wouldn't be surprised if we had a special session before it begins. But I'll be here for it. Thank you for being here. God bless you. God bless Texas.
Thank you so much, Senator. Alrighty, folks, we're getting close to the debate time. I know that's why you're all here. But before we get right into it, it is my great pleasure to introduce tonight's two expert moderators. First, she is the RNC Committee Woman for Texas and the host of America Can We Talk. You know her, you love her. Make some noise with the one and only Debbie Georgatos. And joining Debbie on stage, he's a businessman, media guru, political junkie, and a CEO. He has made the Dallas Express a bold and unapologetic voice in journalism, highlighting the issues that matter most to Dallas families, taxpayers, and business owners. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Chris Putnam. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, live from the Angelica Film Center in Dallas. It's the battle for Texas Agriculture Commissioner Debate 2026. Introducing the GOP challenger. He's a fifth-generation Texan, U.S. Navy veteran, successful entrepreneur, and staunch conservative. Ladies and gentlemen, get on your feet. It's time to meet Nate Sheets. And now introducing the incumbents. He's an 8th-generation Texan farmer and rancher, a commercial nursery owner, champion rodeo cowboy, and a MAGA conservative. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for the conservative thriller? Make some noise for Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sim Miller.
All right, folks.
I've always wanted to do that. I hope I did you proud. Without further ado, I'll kick it over to Debbie Georgiados to explain the debate rules and get us started.
Hello, it is great to see so many people here. I love the spirit of people showing up for in debates like this because it's it's a tiny percentage of Texans who vote in primaries. So grateful you're here. So I'm going to just explain our rules for the debate. These have been shared with our candidates ahead of time. First of all, we are going to alternate, of course, between which candidate goes first. And in just a moment, there's going to be a coin toss so that everyone, it's all fair. We have a timer up here you can't see, but we can all see, and timing will be strictly enforced. So here's how it rolls. We're going to have questions. Each candidate has 2 minutes for each candidate to answer the moderator's questions. 30 seconds for rebuttal if the candidate's name or reference is made. 1 minute for each candidate to answer the audience questions that have been submitted electronically. I think you can still do that, right? They can still, so we have some questions, you can submit more, but you submit questions, they get 1 minute to answer. Then we're gonna have a lightning round with quick questions, 10-second answers, and then 3 minutes for closing. I forgot to say the most important thing, they also get 3 minutes for opening. So 3 minutes for opening, everything I just said, and the last point is we have not shared the questions or topics with the candidates.
We're gonna have a coin flip to decide who's go first. Whoever wins the flip. Say how you're. Already said hello, Nate. Good to see you. In a minute. We have heads and tails. Somebody want to flip it on the ground and call it ahead of time. Flip. You want to call it? That would be heads.
If I go first, then he goes last, right?
In the final comments? Correct. We'll switch order.
Okay, you can go first.
Sounds like that's settled.
Well, good evening, Patriots. It's good to be here with you. Thank you for coming out tonight. We've got just a little over 2 weeks, and we will know the official poll results on March the 3rd. I have an announcement tonight. May shock some of you, but I would like to announce that I have the endorsement of the governor. And the governor wants to say a few words to you tonight. And let me see if I can get him up here. Not that governor, a different governor. Hang on just a minute. This is the governor of Judea and Samaria, Yossi Dagan.
Samaria, the heartland of Israel. From here, from the mountains of Judea and Samaria, the Bible and the biblical place of Israel, it's honor for me to bless Sid Miller and to share with you that Sid Miller, the Commissioner of Agriculture of Texas, is real partner and real brother of the pioneers who built the Bible and Judea and Samaria, the heartland of Israel. We love Sid. We are praying toward his success, and I personality, I am hope that he will re-elected because Sid is real partner. Sid was organizing like a Twin Cities cooperation agreement between Texas and Samaria Regional Council, my region. First time of the history of Judea and Samaria. Sid is working with me a years for the justice, for build more and more and more Judea and Samaria, build more and more Israel, and make America and Israel great again. So from here, for Judea and Samaria, I'm blessing and I'm praying to success of our brother, our partner, Sid Miller. Good luck.
So we've got a really good relationship back and forth with Israel. I went over there and did a memorandum of understanding with the governor, Yossi. And basically what I did, I declared the West Bank sovereign land of the Jewish people. Heads, oh yeah. Heads exploded. I started getting phone calls from the press, and they say, under whose authority did you get that memorandum of understanding? Did you get that from the State Department? I said, no. Did your governor give you that authority? I said, no. They said, who'd you get that authority from? I said, God. Thank you. But we have a great relationship there. I've also been endorsed by the Israeli Cattle Breeders Association, and your timer's not working.
It wasn't working. Oh, well, anyway, I had more, but I think I'm out of time. Thank y'all very much. Good to be here.
She's going to give you extra 30 seconds. We'll give you lunch time there.
You get some extra time because he took longer.
Okay, all right. Well, good afternoon. My name is Nate Sheets, and I'm going to be your next Texas Agriculture Commissioner. It is awesome to be here with you today. And you know what? I was down in Beaumont last week meeting with a bunch of farmers. And I went out to a rice farm, and this farmer, as he was showing me around his farm, he said, I just went and sold my crop of rice for 40% less than it actually cost me to make. You know, in agriculture, we talk about sustainability all the time. But you know what's not sustainable? The economics. You know, in 1980, a farmer made 40 cents of every $1 of food. 40 cents, that was their revenue. Today, they make 15 cents. Down 60%. Now, who wants a career that 40 years into your career, you're making 60% less? No one. But not only are they making 60% less, but all their input costs have gone up 300%. Their diesel, their seed, their equipment, their labor. And because of that, this week we lost 68 farms. And last week we lost 68 farms. And the week before, all the way back to 2018, we've lost 18,000 farms in Texas. But that's not the only crisis that we have. Think about the crisis we have in our health. Who believes that the food that we eat impacts the way our health is? Absolutely. You know, for decades in America, we've been chasing cheap calories, ultra-processed foods, preservatives to be able to have shelf life. And the impact of that on our health is that now 70% of all Americans have one chronic disease or more. 78% of kids 18 to 25 cannot serve in the military because of their health. That's a national security issue. We're spending $1 trillion redoing our military, but I hope they're all drones because we might not be able to man it. And we spend $4 trillion a year treating symptoms related to the diseases related to the food that we eat. So we're paying for those cheap calories. We're just paying for it on the back end in medical costs and in quality of life. But we can do things differently. I started a little honey company from one beehive to Nature Nates, and I'll tell you a little bit later how I did it. But now it's the #1 branded honey in America, and it's the largest honey company in the United States. But listen, I'm not the only one that thinks this, that we need a change in Texas for agriculture, because I've got the Texas governor, Greg Abbott. I've got the land commissioner, Don Buckingham. I've got the Senate chairman of the Ag Committee, Charles Perry. I've got the Texas Farm Bureau, Texas Cattle Raisers, Texas Cattle Feeders, Farm Bureau, or Forestry, Texas National Cutting Horse Association, and even the Texas Ag teachers have supported me. That's why we're going to make a difference.
All right, well, we're going to start with Commissioner Miller with the questioning. And Commissioner, we're going to rip the Band-Aid right off here and get to the question that a lot of these folks in the audience want to know, and that is, what's going on with you and the governor? Why do you endorse your opponent?
Well, first of all, I'm not running against the governor. I'm running against Mr. Sheets. That'd be a good question you could ask him. I'll tell you, though, you know, I have to stand up for agriculture. And if the governor steps on agriculture, I'm gonna hold him accountable. I'll give you two real quick. Back during COVID, he picked winners and losers. Businesses stayed open, some had to shut down. Well, he shut down agriculture businesses, cattle auctions, trailer manufacturers, seed, feed, fertilizer dealers. Well, I am autonomous from the governor. I have executive authority over the ag code. So I opened them all back up. And when he closed the border down to do safety inspections on trucks that had already been inspected, we lost $3 billion worth of product down there. We had thousands and thousands of Texas trucks stuck in Mexico and couldn't get back across, and the cartel retaliated by setting them on fire. Well, I confronted him about that and held him accountable for that. So, you know, the governor doesn't like to be challenged. It's my job as ag commissioner. Whoever steps on agriculture, I'm going to step in and defend agriculture. So I think that's what it is. Thank you.
This question is also for Commissioner Miller, and that is, you've held this office for multiple terms, and what would you point to as your biggest success? What would you point to as your biggest failure, thing you're most disappointed about, and what, if anything, are you going to do differently if you are reelected? Commissioner Miller.
Well, I think probably we've done a lot of things, and from the Agri-Stress Helpline, where we got mental health, we saved 300 farmers from committing suicide. Those people would say that's the most important thing we've done. But I think the most people we've affected is in our nutrition program. I'm responsible for 5 million school meals every day, all across the state. When I started, they weren't serving any local product, just ultra-processed, flash-frozen, dyes, yeah, you name it, and it was horrible. Instead of having healthy kids, we had healthy trash cans. So we started the Farm Fresh program. We've become the model for the nation. We got the highest award from the USDA, naming us the most outstanding nutrition program in the United States. We got a similar award for our summer feeding program. I set up 4,200 feeding sites so kids don't go hungry through the summer months. Well, I'm proud to say now when we had 0 local foods being served in our schools, I'm proud to say that this last year, our schools bought and served $300 million worth of locally grown products to our kids, and they ate it. No dyes, no preservatives. Thank you. Thank you. That's it.
Okay, Mr. Sheets, you're running against a has been very popular, long-term incumbent. What specific decisions has Commissioner Miller made during his tenure that convinced you this is the right time, that we need a new agriculture commissioner? And what can you point to that he's done well in office?
You know, thank you for doing the suicide hotline and providing that as an option. You know, farmers are like 6 times more likely to commit suicide than other industries. You don't hear of a high-tech suicide hotline or a banker or a lawyer suicide hotline. But when you're dealing with farmers and ranchers that are 5th and 6th generation, and for the very first time maybe, when that land was given to them free and clear, they had the equipment handed over to them, but because they lost $200,000 this year and last year and the year before, now they have debt. And for the very first time, they're at risk of losing that 5th generation farm. And so that's why focusing on revenue, helping farmers and ranchers grow their revenue side is so critical. Otherwise, we're going to have a need to continue with the suicide hotline. Because financial stress and the shame associated with being the generation that lost the farm is what's taking the toll on farmers and ranchers all over Texas. Amen. We have to have a different direction of what we're doing here in Texas. And that is why the governor endorsed me. That is why Senator Charles Perry, the chairman of the Senate Ag Committee, really the head ag guy in Texas in the legislature, knows that we need a different direction. But even the Farm Bureau and cattle raisers and cattle feeders, they all agree that we have to have another direction that ensures that that it would be an amazing success if we could get rid of the suicide hotline, because farmers and ranchers could stay in business, not just survive, but thrive. And that needs to be the vision that we're striving for.
This question is also for you, Mr. Sheets. The Department of Agriculture has 551 employees, various regional offices, laboratories to support agricultural, marketing, and regulatory initiatives. Do you have experience managing a bureaucracy of that size? And if not, how are you going to start out on day one? And what are you concerned about in taking on a bureaucracy of that size?
You know, I started with one beehive in my mom's backyard, turned it into Nature Nate's. We built a manufacturing facility in Dallas. We built another manufacturing facility in Georgia. We went from absolute obscurity to where we sell in 30,000 stores across America, the #1 brand. I have my cell phone number on the back of every bottle of honey I sold from 1997 to 2014 and talked to every single person. And I knew exactly why people ate honey. Because of that, I wound up creating the raw and unfiltered sector of honey. In 2012, honey was at $300 million in the United States. Today, 12 years later, it's 5 times that. It's $1.5 billion. But you know how I lead? I don't know everything. I don't have to know everything. What I do know is I know how to surround myself with people who are excellent at doing the things I'm not good at doing. I know how to lead. I know how to have a vision for where we need to go. And Texas agriculture is a ship without a rudder right now. We don't have a vision for cleaning up our food, for helping farmers and ranchers be successful. And so we are going to take this agency, which has a very toxic environment right now because of the chief of staff, and we're going to go in and we're going to build a culture of excellence where farmers and ranchers are at the center, that we do everything that we can to hold them and help them be successful and clean up all the food. The questions that I was asked from 17 years when I have my phone number on the back of every bottle of honey are the same questions that people are asking today. They want to know, is the food that we're eating helping them? You know, this is a golden age for agriculture. We've taken the food pyramid, we've turned it upside down, and when you look at that food pyramid, it's filled with everything that comes right off the farm. We're going to help farmers and ranchers come closer to consumers and be more successful than ever.
And this next question is for both candidates. We're asking Commissioner Miller to go first. It's been touched on briefly. Texas continues to lose family farms while corporate and foreign interests expand. What concrete steps will you take, not just talking points, to protect independent Texas farmers from continuing to be pushed out?
Okay, well, we've done pretty good. When I started, the agriculture economy was a $106 billion industry. Today, it's about $260 billion. We've more than doubled. So the farmers have done really good. We are expanding, actually, more farms at the very large farms, the medium-sized farms. The only ones we've lost the small farm. It just can't seem to quite get a foothold. But here's what we're doing. Biden left us with a $50 billion trade deficit. That means we're buying more food than we're selling. So we're turning that around. And he's got some ads out that has some not the correct facts. So we've got 45 international trade missions, not 48. And I'm not going on them. I have 12 ambassadors that I have highly trained. And they take 10 to 30 companies with them on these trips. And we're turning that trade around. We secured a deal with Taiwan for $10 billion, so we got that $50 billion down, and we said that's $40 billion it's down to. We just got back from Dubai, Oman, Lebanon, and Mexico. Tony Noun heads that up. He's here with me tonight. He sold the Lebanon's military 50 tons of beef every month. So we've got it down to about 37 now. So we're opening markets around the globe. No other state is doing that. We're working hand in hand with the USDA, the Foreign Trade Service. I have a great working relationship with just about everybody in Trump's cabinet. I'll be with Bobby Kennedy this Wednesday at Fort Hood, laying out the new dietary guidelines for the military. I am one of his appointees on the MAHA team. So we're doing good. Texas is doing better than any other state.
These next questions are for both candidates. Well, I'll ask the first one, and you can each answer.
Do I answer? Does that for both candidates?
You can get a 30-second rebuttal, yes.
And tell me the question one more time.
You want to go? With Texas, we're losing family farms, and to corporate interests, and what concrete steps will we take to ensure that we don't continue to push them out?
Okay. So the Go Texan program was a program that I was a member of back in the 90s. It was created by, I think, Susan Combs, who's endorsed me, that said it was to be able to help farmers access consumers. You know, in the Sunset Report, which is done every 10 years on the agencies in Texas to help them know what they need to do and make sure they have a strategic plan, 5 years ago they said one of the number one priority was to make the Go Texas program effective. Well, if you go on that Go Texas program today, it looks like more of an elementary school fundraising project with scented candles and earrings and bracelets. We're going to redo that and make it wildly successful to help farmers and ranchers.
Next question is going to go to both candidates, and we're going to start with Mr. Miller. The border crisis. Actually, I'm losing track.
Right.
Yeah, we're sorry. With Commissioner Miller. The border crisis has directly impacted Texas ranchers through property damage, trespassing, and cartel activity. Should the Agriculture Commissioner play a role in border security or stay out of it?
Well, and just a rebuttal from part of my time, the Go Texan program has never been better than it is today. When I took over, we had 250 members. We have over 3,000 now, and it's continuously growing. So we're doing good. The border, I know something about. I served in the House. I was chairman of Homeland Security and Public Safety. I had oversight under Rick Perry of securing the border. I know those ranchers down there. I have relationships. We provide biosecurity for the state. So we go down there and set up with Operation Lone Star, and we pull trucks over and we go through them. The ranchers are in good shape now. Before, it was really, really rough. They feared for their lives. They got to where they couldn't farm their own ground. The cartels and the coyotes would come through and cut their fences, let their cattle out, ransack their buildings, run their equipment. They couldn't even go out on their place unless they had an armed guard with them, because if they got out of the gate, got out of their truck to open the gate, someone would jump in and steal their pickup. So it's all, thank God for Donald Trump. It's not that way now. We're shipping more out than we're coming in.
Same question to you, Mr. Sheets.
Yes, absolutely.
Border security.
Yeah,
same
border
question,
security.
yeah.
You know, I just got a letter sent to me that was being sent to Brooke Rollins about New Mexico, and the cartels were coming into New Mexico and actually taking farmers' ranches from them and showing that they knew where all their families were, all their grandkids were, because the cartels have figured out the best way for them to be able to launder money is through agriculture. Just recently in Atlanta, Georgia, they made a drug bust, the DEA did, of a blueberry pallet, a pallet of blueberries, and the center of it was cocaine. The cartels have their hand in this New World screwworm. They want to keep the borders closed. The New World screwworm is, by it coming up to the Texas borders, has the border closed. We're not allowing cattle to come into Texas. We're seeing impacts on our meat packing facilities. They shut one down in Nebraska. They laid off a ship in Amarillo. And our greatest risk is allowing the cartels to continue to impact how we operate in the north, because now they're actually building meatpacking facilities down in Mexico in anticipation that they're not going to be able to get the border open. And if that continues to happen, we're going to see a massive negative impact in the cattle industry, in meat and beef prices. We have got to be involved as the Texas Department of Agriculture in all aspects of agriculture on this side and ensuring that it's safe on that side.
Next question is also to both candidates, starting with you, Commissioner Miller. Do you support using Agriculture Department resources to assist landowners in dealing with border-related damage, security, et cetera?
Well, we actually don't have to do that. The legislature has taken care of that. They did pass legislation where there is a fund now where farmers and ranchers can apply to replace fence and get damages collected on that. So that's been taken care of. Thank you.
Mr. Sheets, same question.
We need to use the funds, excuse me, we need to use the funds of the Texas Department of Agriculture according to how the funds are to be used. You know, farmers and ranchers, as they're continuing to lose, their focus needs to be on growing their revenue, being more profitable, and if we can come alongside them and help that and ensure that they're safe and secure in these areas, then we're going to do everything that they need to help them be successful.
Okay, next question again for both candidates. Mr. Sheets, starting with you. Are the Trump deportation policies hurting or helping Texas agriculture? Do you support the president's policies, and what modifications would you make, if any?
I 100% support everything that the president's doing. I was down at the border, down in McAllen. A group of farmers had me come down for an event, and so we went right down to the border. And I did a video to Donald Trump because I said, you said you were going to shut this border down, and brother, you did it. I mean, I couldn't see a single person looking up and down. It was amazing. He did a great job. Now, they're rounding up all the bad guys. And listen, I don't care if you're an illegal alien or a U.S.-born citizen. If you're a bad guy, let's round them all up and get them out of here or throw them in jail. I'm tired of worrying that my 22-year-old daughter, if she goes to go get gas, if something can happen to her. We deserve to live differently in America. Amen. Now, at the same time, we have major issues with labor in agriculture. They are dying on the vine. I was just down when I was in McAllen, I was talking to citrus farmers, and over 60% of their workers were H-2A workers, which are foreign workers that come in for a period of 10 months and they provide housing for them. But it's expensive. We have H-2A workers at Nature and Aids. It's probably $30 to $40 all in per hour. And the challenge is just on the other side of the river, on the Mexican side, they're paying $2 a day for those same people to do the same work. But ever since COVID, we have had a work ethics issue. And those farmers said, you know, the worst workers we have are Americans. They're down there and they're drinking beer by 10 o'clock, kicked back underneath the tree. He said these H-2A workers come in and just march through the field and get it done. We have got to re-inspire a work ethic and a vision with our young people. Or else we're going to continue to struggle. And it's not just going to be agriculture. It's going to be every sector across America. And that is the fabric of who we are as Americans. We need to inspire our young people and all Americans to getting back to work.
Commissioner Miller, same question. Trump's deportation policies, are they helping or hurting Texas agriculture?
Well, most of the time I agree with Trump. I have a great working relationship with him. I have the personal cell phone number of Scott Turner over at HUD. I've already told you about my relationship with Bobby Kennedy being on the MAHA team. Be with him this Wednesday. Brooke Rollins grew up 25 miles from my house. I've known her all my life. Christy Nome, a friend of mine, we go to bull sales together before she was in the cabinet. And Doug Burgum's a good close friend. So we work real well together. Now, his tariffs have been good for agriculture. The first time around, when he left, after he made those deals and used tariffs as a leveraging tool, farmers making more money than they ever have. We're to that point now, we're about a year ahead of schedule compared to the first time. It's just about to tip over. Do I always agree with the president? No. I announced that I disagreed with his decision to import Argentine beef. Nate agrees with that. I disagree. So that's one difference between us. And the reason I did, I said that doesn't solve our cattle shortage problem. To solve the beef problem, we need to grow the herd. I said, first off, let's open up some grazing lands. Biden, because of his Green New Deal and the war on livestock, kicked all our farmers and ranchers off the grazing leases. They actually took my suggestion and opened 5 million acres. We still have 19 million more, but now we got a place to put some cows instead of having to send them to the packers and slaughter them. I also said, hey, if you want to grow the herd, let's do a heifer retention tax credit. Some of these ranchers, they could use a tax break, give them $500 for every heifer they keep back. That'll grow the herd. And I also said, we've got to go after these big foreign packers. They're manipulating the market. And they are doing that. They're actually, the Justice Department is actually investigating those 4 big packers. And I said, and you got to do something for the consumer. Right now, that Argentine beef can come in and be mixed with American tallow and be sold as product of USA. We got to fix that. That's lying to the American people.
Commissioner, this next question is for both of you as well.
But I get my rebuttal, right? Because he named me?
Yes, he did. Fair enough.
Yeah. When I give my explanation, I was explaining what President Trump is trying to do is lower consumer prices. And he was just impugning me on that. And yet, at the very end of his answer, he said, let's bring in Argentine beef and mix it with tallow. So.
No, I did not say that. You misheard on that. I didn't say that.
He didn't? No. Okay. Is the media supposed to be so involved with this?
Sorry, don't lie.
Okay.
All right, folks. Let's, it's been civil so far. Let's keep it that way. All right, so again, this next question is both candidates, starting with Commissioner Miller. Provided the border does stay secure, and I don't know what Congress is doing about that right now, but what immigration reform policies would you support, provided we do get a bill at some point that makes sense for that community?
Well, 2 things. I've actually been working on this ever since I've been in office. We need 800,000 migrant workers in our agriculture sector. We have an H-2A program, which is legal migrant workers. We started out with 75,000. We've worked that up, and I've been involved in that. Right now, we're at 400,000, and we've just successfully got another 100. We're going to have 500,000 of the 800 that we need this time. So that helps. Now, the 800 need is coming down because of technology. We now have cows with robotic milkers. We have tractors that drive themselves. We have unmanned drones that spray our crops. We can almost mechanically harvest, not all of them, but most of our crops can be mechanically harvested. So that at one time we did have to, use a lot of illegal labor, but the need for that is shrinking. I don't know any farmer or rancher that wants to hire illegal labor. They only do it if it's the last resort. Can you imagine a dairyman getting woke up at 4 in the morning and say, boss, they just picked up all of our hands, who's gonna milk the cows? Or can you imagine being in the middle of a watermelon harvest and you get all your hands picked up? The crop's gonna rot in the field. No one wants to do that. So I'm gonna continue working on that. We do need to fine tune that, and I don't have time, but I would tell you that we need to make those workers pay for that themselves. The American taxpayer doesn't need to be paying for that. The illegals pay $10,000 to a coyote. We can make those HUA workers pay their own way up here. And we need to do a withholding, just like income tax from them. And if they run off to the construction industry, we keep that. But if they go back, fulfill the contract, all that would be reimbursed to them. And that is a workable system. I've been to Congress several times to lay that out. No one has the intestinal fortitude to touch immigration reform. That's just the fact. But it would work. It would really work good.
All right. Same question. It's what actual immigration reforms, provided we keep the border secure, would you support that makes sense for that community?
Yeah, I was just down, when I was down at McAllen, they were telling me that they just put cameras up on the bridge because they used to have workers come up and they'd come up for about 4 days and then they would work and then they'd go back. But we have these new cameras up that are taking people's pictures, and if you do not come back within 24 hours, then they block you to be able to come back into the United States. And so even our current policies are really hindering migrant workers to be able to come up that are legally coming up. We need to enhance that. We need to make it easier for people down south to be able to access migrant workers. And having been someone in the food industry where we've got a lot of workers, we've got 120,000 beehives, it takes a lot of labor to be able to help work on all those. And so we need a program that allows us to have longer term relationships with workers to come in from Guatemala and South America, that we could have them here for 3 years. And if they could do well, not have any criminality, pay their taxes, then we could look at giving them some other type of green card to be able to come in here and continue work. Because the labor is an issue. We've lost a lot of dairies lately because ranchers or because dairymen do not have people willing to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go milk cows. So we've got to change this.
One last question, and this section was border security and foreign land ownership. And I'm starting first with Mr. Sheets. Is Texas farmland adequately protected from foreign countries and individuals buying up Texas land? What specific countries are you worried about buying land here?
Yeah, I'm very grateful to the Texas legislature and the Senate for going in and securing that adversarial countries cannot come in and buy land in Texas. There's 195,000 acres that is supposedly owned by adversarial nations. And now that's a legal issue. Once we get an attorney general, then we'll go look and see what those source of income or the source of equity was on those lands. And those lands can be seized. But we need to continue to be vigilant, not just with foreigners coming in and buying the land, adversarial countries, but we have given adversarial countries access to our farms and our grocery store shelves. We have lost the ability to feed ourselves and process the food, and we are reliant upon adversarial countries. Some of the largest agriculture industry companies are foreign companies selling into America, and we are reliant because of consolidation, and it's a risk, and we've got to change that with by deconstructing large agriculture companies.
Commissioner Miller, same question. Is Texas farmland adequately protected from foreign countries or individuals buying up Texas land? And what specific countries are you worried about? Did the legislature do enough?
So this is something I've been working on for over 8 years. I was the first statewide official to bring this to the attention of the legislature when we had a Chinese national, former military man, bought 120,000 acres near Del Rio next to Laughlin Air Force Base. Laughlin Air Force Base is where we store our most top secret plane, our U-2 spy plane. And we allowed them to set up camp right next to it. They were going to put up a wind farm. I worked with Senator Donna Campbell, and we went in there and passed legislation to prevent the wind farm from going up. I worked with Senator Kokors the next session, and we got a good bill. It passed the Senate, went over to the House. Dade Phelan and the Democrats killed it, wouldn't let it through. And so we come back. I'm still working with Lois Kokors. We take a second run at it. We get it passed this time under Dustin Burrows. He understands. He does not let the Democrats kill it. And we pass it now. We've got good, strong laws. And the Chinese, who's our biggest problem, they see the writing on the wall. That gentleman that bought that 120,000 acres, he's put it on the market and he went home. So, good job.
All right, this next question, also for both candidates, we'll start with you, Commissioner Miller. And it is, we're kind of changing topics. We're moving to regulation, inflation, and cost of living. Inflation, food prices continue to crush Texas families. As Commissioner, what burdens have you reduced specifically to help lower costs, and what still needs to be done? Regulatory burdens.
My first.
Yes, sir.
Well, when we came up and Trump took over, first thing he said, we got to lower the price of eggs. Man, it's just, through the roof. So I went up and had a list of things to sit down with Brooke Rollins, and I said, what are you going to do about the eggs? She said, well, I've got my 4-point plan. So we went over it, and I said, you might want to add a 5th point. And she said, well, what's that? I said, this will lower the cost of eggs. I said, we've already been working with Turkey, the country of Turkey. I said, we have secured 700 container loads of eggs that they are willing to sell us at a really deep discount. They've got a surplus. And we can bring those eggs in, and that will lower the price of eggs. So she added a 5th point. So almost immediately, she announced those 5-point plans. Those eggs started coming in, and egg prices dropped overnight. Now then, to rebuild the eggs production is easy because a hen lays an egg every day, and it takes 28 days to hatch. So she can, that one hen can produce 365 more hens. Cows, you can't do that. So this one worked, bringing in product from outside because we needed immediate effect. So we lowered that. Back during COVID, when we couldn't get things delivered and fuel was high, I passed an executive order so that farmers and ranchers could burn red diesel in their trucks and get the crops delivered to the market. So we've done a lot of things like that to lower prices. We've probably done more on opening up markets and making available profits to the farmers than just about anything else we've done. So we'll continue to do that. And and we have, like I said, we have that great working relationship. We didn't have that with Biden. I sued him 4 times, and I fought him all the time. So anyway, but thank you.
Mr. Sheets, same question. It's about inflation, food prices, Agriculture Commissioner, what burdens have you? Sorry, same question. Do you want me to read the whole question again? Yeah, sorry. Inflation and food prices continue to crush families. As Ag Commissioner, what regulatory burdens have you reduced specifically to help lower costs?
Yeah,
Or could you address?
yeah. So obviously, we're all very concerned about inflationary food prices, and Donald Trump is trying to bring those down. And that's why I explained that's why he's bringing in Argentine beef. He's trying to bring relief to the consumer, because the biggest risk is that we lose the midterms and we lose control of the House. And if we do that, we're going to see impeachment after impeachment after impeachment for the next 2 years. We've got to win that. But we've got this Go Texan program that I was a member of back in the 90s. So when I sold a bottle of honey for $2, went into the retail chain, you guys bought that for $7. So there's $5 between a consumer and a producer. And it's margin on top of margin on top of margin, distribution, warehousing. And so the way that we can help lower prices for consumers and raise profitability for producers is to bring that $5 closer to the producer. That's why the Go Texan program was created in the very first place. It was there to be able to help farmers and ranchers access consumers. We're going to redo it. We're going to clean it up. We're going to make it more successful. And it's going to be about agriculture. A lot of the companies that are in there right now don't have a lot to do with agriculture. So we're going to go into retail, create a direct retail opportunity. When I started out with Nature Nates, I'd get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and go put honey on the shelf. We're going to give farmers and ranchers, if they have a finished good, to be able to do that. And then we're going to create a .com that is a competitive platform with something like an Amazon, that you don't have to live near a United or an H-E-B to go put product on the shelf. That if you're a producer, you can sell your goods to anybody in America.
You both touched on the topic we wanted to be sure you both talked about. So we're going to go to the president's decision regarding importing beef from Argentina. Authorized a quadruple increase in beef purchases. And I know you both spoke it briefly. I want to just get your take on it. Why is it good? Why is it bad? How is it going to help our farmers or hurt our farmers? I believe we're starting actually this time with Mr. Sheets.
Yeah, again, President Trump is trying to drive affordability for Americans. Beef prices are at an all-time high because the cattle herd is at an all-time low. We've got the border closed. We've got the meat packing plants that are closing. Those are all huge challenges. And so we've got to grow the herd, and we've got to be able to get that throughput. But again, going back to the way that we can do it is by getting farmers and ranchers access to be able to go and sell in direct or sell direct to consumers. And so the affordability is something that we have to work across the entire spectrum and get it back to where families are not struggling as they are today just to be able to put food on the table. I talked to a mom the other day. I was out and about. She said, I've got 4 boys. We eat 3 pounds of beef every night at dinner because of dietary issues. And we spend almost $38 every dinner, and we're going broke. That's the reason why Donald Trump is wanting to bring in Argentine beef. I don't think Argentine beef's great because they have hoof and mouth, but there are other countries, whether it's Australia or Brazil, just like we brought in Turkish eggs to help lower prices, we need to provide the same relief for consumers on beef.
Mr. Miller, same question.
Well, the Argentine beef, the amount, quadruple what we're bringing in, really, it's not going to move the needle. It's less than 1% of our beef supply. And the beef that comes from there is inferior beef. It's just lean. None of the top cuts, the sirloins, the steaks, the brisket, the roast, none of that. We take that very lean, stringy meat from Argentina and we mix it with our tallow, the fat that comes off our grain-fed cattle, and that's sold as hamburger. But we don't label it product of Argentina. It's labeled product of USA. That has to change. So that's where we are, and so it's not that big a deal. If he just wouldn't have said anything, I don't think anybody would have noticed because it didn't make a blip. Now, if we really want to, the third point I read out of time a while ago, if we really want to lower the price of beef, this will do it, and it'll do it overnight. We have to be very, very careful or we'll crash the market. It'll drop so fast. Every year, prior to the screwworms, we get 15% of our cattle herd from Mexico. They walk them across. Farmers put them on their wheat fields and graze them through the wintertime. The big ones, we go straight to the feedlot. We feed them our corn and run them through our processing plants and our labor, and then we sell a lot of it back to Mexico. It's a great deal for us. The screwworm has got that shut down. So what we can do is gradually, very systematically, open the border and start bringing those cattle in. Now, you can't just open it wide open, you'll crash the market. So we have to start where the screwworm isn't, in the northernmost ports, Arizona, New Mexico, and far west Texas. There's never been any screwworms out there. So we can do that, start bringing them in. We can take protocols where we absolutely will not bring any screwworms in. We have something y'all have all heard of, ivermectin. It's an anti-parasitic drug. It prevents screwworms, and if they got them, it'll kill them. We give them a shot of that. We watch them 10 days. We give them another shot, and they're good to go. And so we can bring them in safely. So with that, that's how we could lower the price of beef.
We're going to shift to a new category. This one's ethics, transparency, and trust. And the first question is to you, Commissioner Miller. Critics argue that longevity in office, no matter who the elected official is, can breed complacency. How do you respond to voters who think it's time for a fresh start?
Well, I think you just look at my track record. We've got an excellent track record. I've told you about all the markets and how we've done that. We've protected the consumer. We didn't get to talk about that tonight. When I took over, it was taking 12 years to fix all the to inspect all the gas pumps. I got it fixed in 12 months. You get inspected every 12 months now. And I added a program I didn't have to, a credit card skimmer program. I taught my inspectors how to open that pump up and check those credit card skimmers. And y'all hadn't lost your credit card at a gas pump lately because we shut that down. And thank you very much. I launched Operation Maverick. I soon figured out that a lot of these people were selling on illegal scales. So Maverick, you go round up all the strays. We went out and rounded up 7,000 businesses selling on illegal scales. They're all accurate now. They weren't before. So we have a history of great production. We have lower turnover than any other agency, 14%. The governor's at 21%. people love coming and working for the Texas Department of Agriculture. There's a process called sunset. We went through that, and it's very intense. It's kind of like a deep bank examiner going through a bank. And the legislators down there, they're familiar with what I'm talking about. The reason they call it sunset, if they don't like what you're doing, the sunset's on you and you go away. And your programs go to other agencies. We sat down with them at the exit interview, and they said, Commissioner, I've got to tell you something. We've been doing this for decades, and we have never examined an agency that is run as good as the Texas Department of Agriculture. Keep doing what you're doing. Now, we've got a lot left to do. We're battling the screwworm, the bird flu, the swine flu. We've got fires in the panhandle, floods in the hill country, hurricanes on the coast. We've got insects threatening our cotton. We've got insects threatening our rice. We've got the sugarcane farmers. We're trying to help get that industry back. I think we're going to get it back. We got shrimpers. I've got a lot left to do, so thank you.
Next question is we'll start with Mr. Sheets.
What was the question that he just answered?
This was different.
Oh.
He was, yeah, we had these, there were some for him and some for you.
Okay.
You get your own treat here, yeah. So if elected, how are you going to ensure that transparency, how do you ensure transparency, avoid becoming another career politician once in office?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not coming in here to be a career politician. I haven't been here since before 9/11, and I'm coming here to fix an issue. I don't have a desire, this isn't something on my checklist I need to go do. My wife actually said when we decided to run, she goes, you know this is going to materially impact your life. And I do know that. But I spent 6 years serving our country in the Navy. I spent 12 years serving God's kingdom in full-time Christian ministry from 1998 to 2010. I spent 14 years serving in Nature Nates and serving communities, producing good, high quality. So I come at this with that same heart of wanting to honor God and to get in and make a difference for His kingdom and serve the families of Texas. And so I hope I'm wildly successful, and I only have to serve for 4 terms, or 4 years, 1 term, or 9 terms. Here's a good one to cut out. But to serve for 4 years. But my goal is to make sure that agriculture is left better than when I started.
Question is also to you. Would you support term limits for statewide office, including your own?
Me?
Yeah, to you,
Oh,
sir,
yeah, I've
sorry.
already signed it. I've signed term limit.
Commissioner Miller, we'll ask you the same question, even though you've been there a while.
Term limits are, a lot of people are going to disagree with me. Term limits are a good thing at the federal level. Those are full-time legislators, full-time elected officials. The way Texas is set up, we have part-time legislators, and they only serve for 140 days every 2 years. So if you, by the time, it takes 3 or 4 sessions really for you to figure out what's going on, and really the bureaucrats run the place. So if you get somebody there for a couple of terms or 3 terms, the bureaucrats would run everything. So the federal level, yes, they need it. State level, it doesn't work real good unless you want the bureaucrats running state government. And they pretty much do anyway, because the legislature goes home, they do whatever they want. Then the only thing the legislature can do is come back and threaten their budget or cut their budget and make them, it takes sometimes 2 and 3 sessions to make them do what the legislature told them to do. So it's a little different situation. Thank you.
We're going to stay with Commissioner Miller on this question. So hemp has become a significant profit center for Texas farmers. And been a lot of discussion about it. We know that the lieutenant governor's had some issues. What's your position on flat-out marijuana decriminalization? And what's the right answer in terms of how much THC should be allowed in Texas agriculture? Yes, sir. Sorry.
All right. We're talking hemp. We passed the hemp law. The legislature took it off the list so we could grow hemp. We started in 2019. At that time, we didn't know what Delta 8, Delta 9, or Delta 10 was. Didn't exist. So it wasn't addressed. So that's caused a loophole in the system. So fast forward to 23, 24, they figured out how to distill that and make that concentrate, and that's what they're putting is this distilled concentrate in the gummies and the smokables to make the higher THC, and it's legal. Now, my position is When I wrote the rules, let me back up. Hello. All right, I'm back. So when I wrote the rules until it left the farm. Once it leaves the farm, I don't have any control over it. So my position has always been, I have been always the loudest supporter of statewide elected officials for medicinal use. If it can help somebody, let's help them. We have the research where it does that. Glaucoma, seizures, PTSD. There's a whole host of things. I have never ever advocated for recreational use. So, and the hemp industry has changed. We have saturated and grew too much of the CBD hemp. But now we have the opportunity to grow industrial hemp, and it's growing leaps and bounds. We have the nation's, actually North America's largest industrial hemp processing plant in Wichita Falls. They contracted 15,000 acres. And this hemp doesn't have any THC in it. It's used for products, building products, boards, cinder blocks, upholstery, rope, canvas, things like that. And people want to get away from plastics, and this is the perfect. And it's a great rotational crop for our farmers.
It's a safe question to you, Mr. Sheets. Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm happy to repeat it. It's been a significant profit center for Texas farmers hemp, and your position on marijuana decriminalization and the right answer in terms of how much THC should be allowed in Texas crops.
Yes, we have the teacup, which allows anyone to be able to access for PTSD for veterans and things like that. One of the reasons why Donald Trump was looking at lowering the scheduling of marijuana was to be able to use it for research, to be able to help more veterans and other people dealing with PTSD. And I think that is a viable and needed use for us to be able to go look. Personally, I use CBD all the time. I use it on my hands and on my joints. It's a great product. But we used to have 6,000 acres of hemp in Texas, and now I think we have 80 acres, because even though we have the largest, most advanced hemp processing plant in Texas, we do not see the throughput into industrial use. We got to think about consumption and how we drive consumption, how we drive use, because if you can't pull that through the plant, then there's no need for it on the farm. And so we need to go work with corporate partners, doing innovation, and figuring out how we can create new products that we can bring to market.
Thank you. We're changing topics again, and we're turning to the question which brought a lot of audience response earlier, having to do with Sharia law and Islam. And the specific question is Islam and Sharia a threat to the American way of life? But in particular, are you aware of halal food preparation methods? And should that be legal? What they do to animals, should that be legal in Texas? No.
Sharia and a caliphate are incompatible with the U.S. Constitution and the freedoms that we have here in Texas. The Islamic goal is to have a global caliphate, and they'll let non-Muslims vote. They want us to pay a tax. I worked in Sudan for 10 years when I was in full-time Christian ministry. I saw the literal war from the northern parts of Sudan trying to come in and raid and invade the southern parts of Sudan. But there's also a silent war. These mosques, they would go and they'd build a mosque, they would give free education, they would give free health care, and they would draw people into the community. And all of that money came from Qatar, UAE, Dubai, Saudi Arabia. And we're seeing the same thing happen right here in America, right here in Frisco. I was just talking to one of my brothers that was just talking about the anti-Semitism in Plano in the school district. There he is right there. And the anti-Semitism in the school district right here in Plano, where they have swastikas up on school walls, but the school won't do anything about it. We have to stand up against this Islamic invasion.
I want to go back to, I will come to the same question in just a moment, Commissioner, but Mr. Sheets, the question is, what specifically is halal food preparation permissible, or should it be, the way they slaughter animals? Should that be something the Ag Commissioner cares about?
Absolutely, the Ag Commissioner should care about it. But most importantly, to ensure that we do not put the pressure on public school systems to start to bring halal food and segment it and force other non-Muslims to eat the meat because they're trying to satisfy the desires of the Muslims. We have to not allow that to be able to come into any Texas school.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Okay, we can restart it too. Okay, so, Commissioner Miller, the same question about halal food preparation. Should the Ag Commissioner care about how we, and just overall the Islamification of Texas?
America better wake up. We cannot allow Islam and Sharia law in our country, and we're allowing it every day to grow like a fungus. Just look at Germany, France, Sweden. Oh my gosh, look at Great Britain. They have taken over. They're filling all of their elected official spots. It's just horrible what they do they come in with the intent to take over. Wake up, America. We've got to stop this. We cannot allow this to happen. You're seeing it here in this local school in Plano. You got the school board defending them and not putting checks and balances in there. We've got whole communities coming together, initiating their own Sharia law against our law. We've outlawed that. We've got to enforce it. We've got to be strong. We've got to be tough, and we've got to stop it. Halal inspections, I've seen those. I've been in the slaughterhouses many times. They have an imam comes in there. They inspect the carcass and bless it. That is halal beef. I don't know what y'all have heard, but that's how it works. And it's not a big problem as far as because I don't eat it. But if you want to sell beef to Dubai, which Tony just got back, they want kosher and they want halal, and there's not much difference in the two. But I tell you what, the kosher is much stricter than that, a whole lot stricter. It's a much tougher standard to meet.
Earlier, the screwworm infestation was mentioned, I think by both of you during the course of this conversation. For everyone in this audience, screwworm is just an amazingly dangerous infestation in cattle in Texas. There was a big meeting about it recently, and Agriculture Commissioner Brooke Rollins was on top of it with announcing a plan. The question and we're starting, I think, with Commissioner Miller first, is enough being done to eradicate the screwworm with the efforts of USDA and various Texas agencies using this sterile fly dispersal facility? Is enough being done, or more should be done?
Well, we're not doing enough. It's here. It's almost on top of us. It may be here. We haven't found it yet. The screwworm is moving north. It moved we had it bottled up in southern Mexico. We put 100 million flies down there for the last 13 months every week. So we released 5 billion flies in southern Mexico. It hadn't changed. It's still static. It's still the same number of cases, between 800 and 1,200 cases. Now they've moved from southern Mexico within 200 miles of the Texas border. We took those same 100 million flies and we're dropping them there, and we had 8 more cases last week. We're not suppressing it. So I met with the leaders from Mexico and the 11 Central American countries. And I showed them research that the USDA had done in 1975, and this research eradicated the screwworm fly. And it wasn't more sterile flies, it was a fly bait. They put out the fly bait, it killed 95% of the screwworm flies. And they were elated. They had been trying to develop a screwworm bait and hadn't been able to. So they took that back. I hope they're developing that. We're going to go back down there in 2 weeks and sit down with them and see how they're coming on the research. If we had that fly bait, we could knock this out. Now, that doesn't mean we don't need sterile flies, because Florida had an infection a few years back when a tropical depression come across the Yucatan Peninsula in Cuba, and it dissipated over Florida, and it dropped all those screwworm flies. So we still need the sterile flies for an outbreak like that. But no, we're not doing enough. We haven't slowed it down. We haven't stopped it. It's coming into our country. We're waiting on a screwworm fly factory. That probably won't happen during Trump's administration. So they're going to be here before that. We've got some private industry that can do it a lot faster, cheaper, quicker. We need to let private industry build those fly factories, not the federal government, because we're way, way behind.
Mr. Sheets, same question. Are we doing enough about screwworm? What more do we need to do?
You know, I was just down on the border. Governor Abbott invited me to go down, be with Brooke Rollins at the new SIT facility, screwworm fly sterilization facility that they're opening. It'll be able to produce 100 million flies a week, and they moved the polygon which is the drop area to the north side of the border. So we can be prepared that if screwworm comes in, that we have the ability, we have the flies. They're bringing the pupa up from Panama, and that will be up and going in just a few months. Brooke Rollins said by the end of 2027 that they'll have the new screwworm fly facility up and going. We gave the Mexican government $20 million to convert a fruit fly facility over to the New World Screwworm. It's producing flies. And then M3, which is a for-profit company that takes a container and converts it into a portable sterilization lab, can go and deliver these. They cost $10 million. They can build them in 1 month, and they can put 25 million flies a week. So if we need 500 million flies, we just need 20 of these facilities, and we can go and sell and put them down into Mexico, and the M3 staff will run them. And so we're doing that at the same time. They're getting ready to test that, and we're going to have to do that and a lot more to ensure, because the impact in Texas could be multiple billions of dollars on the cattle industry and be devastating.
Thank you. You know, there was a QR code up on the screen, and I know y'all could submit questions. So while I've been standing here, a lot of questions have come in. So what we're going to try to do with the audience questions is we'll read them. We'll take turns reading them, and each of you get 10 seconds. No, just kidding. I think you get 1 minute. 1 minute to answer audience questions, and then we're going to go to a rapid fire round where we ask questions. They get 10 seconds. But right now we're doing some audience questions.
Are we both answering the same question, or are they going to?
Some are directed to the candidate, and if directed to the candidate, then we'll alternate. The next question directed to the other candidate.
Okay, so you can go first.
This first one is for Commissioner Miller. The Texas Star Fund was instrumental in aiding ranchers who suffered damage during the historic Panhandle wildfires. How many ranchers were actually able to receive aid?
I couldn't hear the first part. Would you repeat it?
The Texas Star Fund, instrumental in aiding ranchers during the Panhandle wildfires. How many ranchers were actually able to receive aid?
Okay, what he's talking about is the STAR Fund, the State of Texas Agriculture Relief Fund. It's a fund that I set up, and we raise money. It's not taxpayer dollars. This comes from individuals, private companies, nonprofits. HEB is a big donor to that. The Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo has donated money to that so we can help these farmers. The Panhandle fire was devastating. We paid out every legitimate claim that was filed. We did not pay out 10 fraudulent claims. We checked those real close, and believe it or not, even in a time of crisis like that, there are fraudsters out there. There were fraudsters in the hay business. I did spend over $100,000 on freight, on donated hay. We scheduled and delivered over 30,000 round bales of hay up there to that area. We coordinated T-post and baling wire, barbed wire to deliver up there. We paid for a lot of that with those funds, so we're on top of that. We did the same thing during the Hill Country floods. We dispersed, we paid every claim that was legitimate, and we always do. We paid out over $1.7 million out of that fund since I've been commissioner.
Lee Wells, stand up. This is Lee Wells, and Lee is a business guy, cattleman from Garland, and he's got a documentary about the fires up there, and he took truckload after truckload after truckload of hay and post and wire, raised how much? $250,000, $400,000?
Bless you. $300,000.
$300,000. We raised through the Star Fund $1.3 million. $1.3 million, and we have deployed $48,000.
That's it.
That's it. So those monies were dedicated to ranchers in Amarillo. So $1.3 million was given, and we have helped farmers with $48,000.
So where's the rest of the money?
Is that an audience question? Okay, I'm going to just go ahead. We have so many questions. I'm going to quickly move to somebody else's. Mindy had this question for both candidates, and I think we'll start with Mr. Sheets. Texas feeds millions of children every day in the school lunch program. What specific steps would you take as Ag Commissioner to improve the quality of the meals, expand real farm-to-school partnerships, so more Texas-grown, minimally processed food is served in our cafeterias? And Mr. Sheets first.
Thank you. You know, in 2024, Texas was 44th in the nation in school nutrition programs. Not very good. So at the end of our first term, our goal is to be in the top 10. I went and looked at what are the top 10 states and what do they all have in commonality. They all have gardens at every level of school. They teach the kids about nutrition. They teach them how to cook, and they get them involved actually in the gardening process. So we've got to start to educate kids because the governor wants us to be #1 in education. We're 41st right now. We're 44th in nutrition. Do you think that what the kids eat impacts their health? Absolutely. So after we win March 3rd, the following week, we're going to start to put together work groups of people with expertise in all of these areas and start working on solutions. So when we walk in there in January of 2027, we're going to hit the ground running and we're going to change those schools and change the trajectory of education in Texas.
Same question to you, Commissioner Milne.
Okay, repeat the question, just make sure I'm on track.
This is about the the school lunch programs. It's a little bit lengthy. I try to hone it down. Just basically, as Ag Commissioner, what can you do to improve the quality of meals kids get at public schools, expand farm-to-school partnership, so more Texas-grown, minimally processed food is served?
Got it. So, we're the shining example of the rest of the nation. We're not 44th. We're #1. USDA has awarded us the #1 school system, nutrition system, summer feeding programs, all of those. We're the ones that they're going to make the example out of. Bobby Kennedy is going to use the Texas example for the rest of the nation, how to get good, wholesome food. What else have I done besides that? Well, I have been working for the last 5 years to get whole milk back in our schools. We just got that done. Your children and grandchildren are now going to have whole milk in the cafeteria. That's great. That's God's perfect nectar for adolescents and young kids. Nothing does any better. So what else have I been doing? I've called on the legislature. It was a little too late. I think they would have done it. But I've also called on Congress to outlaw fluoride in our public drinking water. We can't be doing that. I don't care. I don't want my kids or grandkids drinking fluoride water. I don't care if you use it in your mouthwash or your toothpaste, you can spit that out, but we don't need to be ingesting it. Thank you.
The next question is one we actually have fielded the most from the audience, and then that is specific to what's going on in Plano ISD, the rampant anti-Semitism there. And while it's not necessarily a role of the Agriculture Commissioner's Office, it is a statewide office, so what would you all do to fix it? We'll start with Commissioner Miller this time.
What was the first part of it?
The Plano ISD anti-Semitism that's running rampant, and what role can you do to address it?
There is no place for anti-Semitism. I've talked not anywhere. No, we just don't allow that. But they're allowing it up there, even though there's been lots of input from the public, but they haven't got any satisfaction. Matter of fact, some of the members that have protested that up there have been banned from coming and voicing their First Amendment rights, their freedom of speech. They've been shut down. Ken Paxton is probably going to have to step in. He's looking at that. He's probably not going to get to it till after the primary election. It could, the way the legal system works, it may roll into the new Attorney General. But we have to take legal action on that. We've got to stop that. I don't have any tolerance for anti-Semitism, even though my opponent is endorsed by one anti-Semitic group. He is. I would have never took that endorsement. I just wouldn't. You've seen early on in my introduction the relationship I have with the people of Israel. I don't think any other statewide elected official has that kind of a relationship. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. The Texas-Israeli exchange is working good. Thank you.
Mr. Sheets, we'll give you a minute and a half here to include the rebuttal time.
Yes, so he's referring to, I think, the True Texas Project, and they've endorsed him for the past 3 cycles, and he was really mad when I got the endorsement. So
Hey, sit down. No audience.
That's
No
not
audience.
a lie.
Sorry,
That's
no
not a
audience
lie.
participation.
Not a lie. Benji.
You know what? Yeah, no audience participation.
Yes, he was very upset that he did not get that endorsement. So, as a follower of Christ, I am going to never let there be anti-Semitic behavior. We live in Plano. We've gone to church we lived in Plano. We've gone to church in Plano for decades. And it has changed because of the very fact of what we were talking about, of the Islamization of Richardson, Plano, Frisco. I've got a Hindu mosque or Hindu temple that's 2 miles away from my house. It has completely changed everything. We have got to come alongside our Jewish brothers and sisters, walk with them, side with them, and fight this. There's no place for that in America.
We have another question. We have many questions from the audience. I love it, but we're trying to gel down and jump around to different ones. So, Mr. Sheets, this question is for you. What is your plan for the feral hogs that have overrun Texas?
Yeah.
1 minute answer, 1 minute.
Yeah, that's a huge issue. I spend about $50,000 a year on our ranch, where we have 2,000 stalker cattle and we do cutting horses, trying to fix the hog issue. It's not been fixed. They've been trying to fight this for years and years and years, but one of my lifelong goals was to take my boys to the Texas Rattlesnake Roundup down in Sweetwater. We went and did it, and they go collect tens of thousands of rattlesnakes. So we're going to take that same approach to the hog industry in Texas, and we're going to have fun getting rid of them.
Commissioner Miller, feral hogs.
Sterile hogs cause over $800 million in damage in our state per year. It's a real problem. As a legislator, when I served in the House, I passed a bill called the Pork Chopper Bill, kind of affectionately Pork Chopper, and it allows Texans to hunt wild hogs out of helicopters. That's made a big dent. Actually, it's a whole new industry and brought new jobs and industry to Texas. As your ag commissioner, I've worked to develop baits to control these hogs. Right here in Dallas, they let out a $350,000 contract to trap them off the Trinity River here in town. That's how bad they are. So we now working with a research company. They have developed a bait that sterilizes the males. So if you want the human way to do it, we have a bait. You have to keep it out because if you quit feeding it to them, they come back fertile. We have another bait that's a toxicant. It will kill them. So we have both types. The problem is not everybody wants to get rid of them. Some people like them. They like to hunt them. They make a vocation out of giving hog hunts. We have a problem with people capturing them, taking them to new ranches and turning them loose. So I don't know that we're ever going to get rid of all of them, but we do have controls now, and it was all developed under my leadership at the Texas Department of Agriculture.
We're going to stay with you, Commissioner. We do have a number of questions about the situation with your staffer, Todd Smith. Rather than ask a specific question, would you like to address it?
Absolutely. This was a total political witch hunt. It happens all the time. This is the district attorney's office in Austin, Texas, with a $600 donation to the district attorney there from George Soros. The judge is the same way. And let me put this in perspective. This is the same DA's office that went after Tom DeLay. It took him 10 years and $10 million to prove his innocence. He wasn't innocent. It was just political lawfare. Same office that went after Rick Perry took him 2 years and $3 million to prove his innocence. Same office that went after Kay Bailey Hutchinson. This is just the way they work down there. They don't even have to get a conviction. They just get your name in the newspaper so they can use it in the next election. That's what they did to Todd Smith. Todd Smith didn't do anything wrong. He was just a victim. This was going on at the exact same time that Trump had 94 felony indictments against him. It's the same thing they were doing to Trump. So this is bogus. It's political lawfare. Todd Smith and his family didn't deserve this. It drove him into bankruptcy. They offered him a deal. I told him to take it because he was facing a Soros district attorney, judge, and a Travis County Democrat jury. There's no way he could have won. They would have convicted him and sent him to prison.
Well, we're going to give you an extra 30 seconds.
So here's a QR code. If you don't have one, raise your hand. We can get you one. You can scan this and go to all the original documents to see what really happened. Todd Smith told farmers when the HIP program came to Texas, there were only going to be 15 licenses. And if you gave $25,000 to Todd Smith, then he would make sure you got one. So $150,000 was wired to his personal account, and the Texas Rangers, not the Soros DA, the Texas Rangers arrested him, indicted him, subpoenaed the commissioner to come testify against him, that would be a bad look. So he pled guilty, but he couldn't be a lobbyist anymore because he was a felon, pled guilty to felony. So we have a different standard of hiring at the TDA, and he needed a job, so Sid hired him, being paid $218,000 a year, which is where he is today. He had $150,000 wired to his account. That's not a George Soros DA. It's on that original document. Go look at it, scan it with your phone, and go look at it.
Thank you.
We have another question. You know what?
Quiet from the audience, please. No outbursts, please. Thank you.
Yeah, we have another question that relates to the situation with water
Are
security.
you a media guy or are you an activist?
Johnson.
Yeah, okay,
Johnson,
thank
take it
you.
Okay, so we have another question that relates to water security and drought protection. The 89th legislature passed landmark legislation, including Senate Bill 7, to address critical water supply shortages driven by population growth and drought. These measures aim to unlock billion for infrastructure, desalination, blah, 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 targeting $20 billion, 20-year investment plan. Did we do enough? Did we do too much? What do we do? Are we doing the right thing with water supply? And I believe this first answer goes with Mr. Sheets.
You know, Senator Charles Perry, who's head of the the Senate Ag Committee, they've been working on a water project inside of Texas to try to be able to deal with the regionality, because every region has a different challenge. You know, over in West Texas, we get 6 million barrels a day of oil and gas, but we also get 26 million barrels a day of produced water. So they were 6 years into an 8-year project to clean up that produced water and to be able to make it potable and to be able to use in agriculture. Down in South Texas, they're dealing with holding Mexico accountable and getting the 350,000 acres of water feet to be able to provide it for agriculture down in South Texas. In East Texas, they're fighting for guys that want to use their property rights to be able to access groundwater, but they're selling it off to cities, draining other people's wells. In North Texas, they're dealing with eminent domain and land being taken. So the complexity across Texas is immense when it comes to water. And I'll tell you what we don't want is we don't want to be able to say, you guys get a bathe on Tuesday, Thursday, and y'all get a bathe on Monday and Wednesday. We got to change it in Texas.
Excuse me, actually, same question.
Okay,
Same question, Commissioner Miller.
So, water in Texas, for 10 years, I've been the only statewide official saying we're out of water. We got to do something about our water. I'm the only statewide official that's promoted rainwater harvesting off our distribution warehouses and parking lots. We spend millions and millions of dollars on stormwater drainage, getting it down the creek and sending it downriver. We can capture that. It's really clean water, so we're starting to do that. I was the first one that said we can use desal, but we don't have to do it on the coast. And so now, because of my leadership, we have 20 cities in Texas using desal on brackish water and salty water like in Lake Granbury. It's relatively cheap to do that. Through my leadership, we have worked with the fracking industry and showed them that they can also use desal to clean up brackish water and frack with that and not have to use so much of our fresh water. Over a third of them are doing that, so that's saving water. The best way to save water, and this is where the legislature came in, and finally they put this $1 billion a year in. We're going to save 30% of our water, because from the time the cities get their water till they deliver it to the customers, they lose 30%. So it's just a leaky pipe problem. We can fix that, and we'll immediately have 30% more water.
Thank you, Commissioner. All right, we're going to do one more question from the audience, and then we got a little fun segment that we'll do quickly. This question is for both candidates, starting with Commissioner Miller. What are we going to do about the chemtrails?
Chemtrails were actually under the supervision of the Texas Department of Agriculture at one time, up until 2011. The legislature moved that to the Texas Department of Licensing and Registration. So, basically, the Texas Department of Agriculture has no oversight, no regulation ability over that. I think we really need to take a look at this. I don't know as much about it, and I don't think anybody does as we need to. We need to do some more research. We need to find the findings, what is in those chemtrails. There's a lot of stuff out on the internet. I don't know that I believe all of it, but I believe some of it. It's something that we have got to pay more attention to and get to the bottom of, and I'm for that. And if the Texas Department of Agriculture can be involved in that, a little background on that, it kind of stems from cloud seeding. And cloud seeding, the original intention was not to poison the planet, but to make it rain. And we've done that since probably the 1940s. With some success, but not much success. We probably just need to cut it all out, and it needs to all probably go away, in my opinion.
I'm going to work on getting a ban. We lost 65% of the bees in America in the past 12 months. 65%. Wow. There's a correlation. Albert Einstein said, so go bees, so go humanity. We've got to change the trajectory that we're going.
Okay, so we're going to do a fun thing now called lightning round, and we have some questions which each of you get 30 seconds to answer. And
10 seconds.
Yeah, so
10 seconds.
10 seconds. Okay, how about 10 seconds?
10 seconds, okay.
And here I am, the
10's
one who's
good.
handing out the rule. 10 seconds, okay. So we'll start first with Mr. Sheets. Should the Ag Commissioner have authority to investigate suspected foreign influence in Texas farmland purchases, yes or no?
Yes.
Say, I couldn't understand you. What was it?
Sorry, it is, should the Ag Commissioner have authority to investigate suspected foreign influence in Texas farmland purchases, yes or no?
Absolutely, yes.
We can start with you, Commissioner Miller. Should we ban foreign ownership of Texas farmland?
Yes, and we have.
Yes.
Should Texas prioritize family farmers over multinational corporations, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Does
Sound like you wanted to say
does
more.
the Agriculture Commissioner have a duty to defend Texas values and not just crops?
Yes.
Absolutely. I do that every day that I'm in office.
Has the Texas Department of Agriculture become too regulatory, yes or no?
Yes.
I don't think so. We've cut regulation. We outsource everything that we possibly can to the private sector. So we have cut a tremendous amount of regulation under my leadership.
Have the president's tariffs helped or hurt Texas farmers overall?
Both. I could buy honey from Mexico, but I could never sell honey in Mexico. I could buy honey from Europe, I could never sell honey in Europe. President Trump is going to fight against the protectionist trade policies that other countries have had for decades with tariffs.
Same question.
Tariffs are the best friend of agriculture. We made more profits under the first Trump administration than we ever had. We're just about to the breaking point, and that's going to happen again, and our farmers are going to profit from it.
We touched on this topic earlier, but ban foreign ownership of Texas farmland. Flat out ban all foreign ownership, yes or no?
Yeah, we did that.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I knew
How
that.
about country of origin labeling? Should it be mandatory on all beef sold in Texas?
Yes.
People answering out there. These guys answering.
Country of origin labeling is on every product we sell, except beef and pork. And those companies can lie to you and tell it's from USA when it's not. There is a voluntary program, but that's it. We need a mandatory program in truth in labeling country of origin.
This will be the last one. Should the commissioner take a public stance on federal labor visa caps, yes or no?
I have taken a stand on federal labor visa caps. That's why I've worked so hard to increase the H-2A program and get agriculture workers up here that are legal so we don't have to use illegal labor. Yes.
Yes, I agree that we need to have a visa cap, but I think we should pause immigration completely into America. And just for about 10 years, let's get caught up in making sure that they cannot take over our country.
Okay, we're going to go to closing statements. As a reminder, each candidate has 3 minutes. And I believe we're starting with Commissioner Miller this time.
Okay, well, it's good to be here with y'all tonight. I'd like to remind you that We've had a good run, but we're not through. I've still got lots to do. We got this screwworm looking at us. We got this cotton insect. We've got one in the rice. We've got bird flu and swine flu. We're trying to help bring our sugarcane industry back. We've got the fires, the floods, the hurricanes, the tornadoes that we have to deal with. Working with the Trump administration. I am the Maha candidate. I am the only elected official that's on the Bobby Kennedy Jr. Maha team. I'm the only MAGA candidate in this race. I've got, hopefully I don't have to sue anybody anymore, but Biden I did. I sued him one time. He was going to cut off our lunch money, our food program and kids, so we couldn't feed them because we were going to have to adopt our LGBTQ program. I said, we're not doing that. I had a good lawyer named Ken Paxton, so we sued him. And we stopped that not only for Texas, but for the entire United States. Look, I'm the Ag Commissioner every morning when I get up. This office has been typically a stepping stone to a higher office. Rick Perry used it for that, so did Susan Combs, so did Todd Staples, not me. I'm trying to be the best Ag Commissioner we've ever had. That's why I send all these overseas trips. I don't raise any campaign money over there. I don't get any votes over there, but it's the right thing to do for Texas agriculture. We've got to stand tall for the American farmer and rancher. So, I am not a political candidate looking to run up the ladder. I'm trying to be the best Ag Commissioner that I can possibly be for you. Now, we've got a lot of good endorsements. I think it's interesting. He's talked about endorsements on. I'll just talk about one. The Texas Beekeeper Association has endorsed my campaign. Before I could get out of the conference, I had seven honey companies come up to me and endorse me. He's not liked in his own industry. That ought to tell you. They actually sued him, and he settled out of court and immediately sold his company. So there's one endorsement. I have the floor. I have one endorsement. That's the most important endorsement, and I don't have it yet. But I really, really want it. It's the most important one in this race, and that is yours. I'd appreciate your vote. God bless you. God bless Texas. Thank y'all for coming out. Thank
you. This isn't going to be my typical close because I need to explain the difference between what you guys are choosing. So we have handed out a QR code. It goes back to original documents of his 12 years as Texas Department of Agriculture. There's no speculation. They're just original documents. You go look at them in that code. They've been handing this out, and Tony Noun, that second guy right there in the navy blue sweater, yep, right there. So when I was at E3, I had an inappropriate affair with my assistant. I left, and I went into years of counseling, and I realized and came to understand that being sexually abused at age 5 and age 10 and being exposed to pornography created a lifelong struggle. And my incredible wife, who's sitting right here, we and my family, we worked all through that. Kurt Nelson with East West Ministries is right over here. He walked with me. All of these people up here in the 3rd, 4th, 5th row, they walked with me. So they have I was very public about my struggles. I didn't run from it. Our church, Prestonwood Baptist Church, created a restoration committee that we submitted to go back into ministry, started doing the honey company full time, and God just totally blessed the honey business in spite of me. But I did not want Satan to get any wins out of my struggles. So I went and spoke on podcasts. I went and spoke at conferences, and I was very forthright with my struggles to ensure that I could use that, and God says that he can work all things together for his good for those who love the Lord and called according to his purpose. And I did not want Satan to have any victory in my life because of that. And my wife actually went and stumped for me twice in the past week. And so if you were in here and you walked with me in that phase of life, will you raise your hand? Because there's a lot of you in here. And so for his team, so Tony Noun took that podcast, took the audio and cut it up and tried to distort it and make it sound like there was like something bad. They've been shopping around the media. They've been calling people, sending it to donors. It's ridiculous. But that's the kind of people they are. I used to say he's a nice guy. He's not a nice guy. He's a bully.
It's not true.
Oh, it is true, Tony Noun. Yeah, you just be quiet. I have never hid anything. Man, there's 4 podcasts out there about me because that's not who I am. That's what I did. And I've got a lot. He texted me at 12:45, January 13th, 12:45 at night, and was, I guess, I don't know why. I'm not even going to say what he was texting me about, but he knows it.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. It was a substantive discussion, other than our friend in the audience there. Can we get a hand for both these candidates, please, ladies and gentlemen?